Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, breaking down some unfortunate Toronto Raptors news. That's right, and we briefly touched on it. We didn't have the official report. We were going off a couple tweets we saw, but Chris Boucher, I think he had finger surgery. Well, pull it up here. Chris Boucher out at least 3 to 4 weeks following finger surgery. So he's got a stinky pinky, Riker, and Chris Boucher, he's going to be on the mend now for 3 to 4 weeks. Unfortunate injury news, and the Toronto Raptors, it's an unfortunate start to the season for them, at least, because Siakam's going to be out till likely American Thanksgiving. Now Chris Boucher is going to likely miss the first couple weeks of camp. Those are our two main power forwards, unless you consider Scotty Barnes, who can really plug and play in any position. Maybe Delano Bant and all those guys can plug and play those spots. But this is sort of an unfortunate thing for Chris Boucher, because he would have gotten a great opportunity to start off the season, show what he's added to his bag this year. But rotation-wise, we're going to see a lot of things happen now with Nick Nurse and Chris Boucher out of the lineup.
Yeah, and, we have an insane amount of depth right now, and so we have an absurd amount of confidence, really, for finishing, 12th in the East, 27 wins last season, and we're really expecting that even if two of our top three guys are out of the rotation to start the season, that we'll still probably win games, but that's just the reality where we're at right now. After one preseason game, we have that confidence in the boys, so I think it's reasonable to say that Scotty Barnes, his development will benefit from probably starting in the starting lineup at the beginning of the season. Delano Banton, who otherwise might have got pushed immediately to the 905, he'll have the opportunity to get some run. And guys like Champagny and Bonga and a bunch of guys who are complete wild cards but impressed, they'll get to play. That said, Chris Boucher, well, I guess 3 to 4 weeks. The season doesn't really start for 2 more weeks, so it's really like 1 to 2 weeks to start the NBA season, the regular season. Yeah. But he had a real compelling case for most improved, Ben, with how much of a jump he had in 3-point percentage, blocks per game, points per game. Doesn't matter that his shot is completely broken, two-hand, weird. But when we started playing him in his natural position at the 4 and didn't ask him to guard centers, we unlocked an absolute beast.
Oh, without a doubt. And that's one thing I was pretty excited to, especially with Siakam going to be out the first couple of months or so, to see Chris Boucher really play his natural position. Hopefully Kem Birch, he'll be back ready to go by then, which I think he will be. He's out with health and safety protocols right now. I don't imagine that's going to be out longer than more than 2 weeks, right? Precious Achiuwa looking like an absolute monster in Summer League, and now the first game of preseason, right? He's raring to go at the center position. Now Chris Boucher has a hole that he can certainly slide in and fill and show what he's developed. You said he had tremendous development last season. Coming in, starting this year, had a sort of good opportunity, but now is going to miss the first couple weeks or whatever. But should be fine. He'll still get to fill that starting position there. But who are you most excited? Are we saying Scotty Barnes is starting at that power forward slot, and then either Dragic or Trent are going to fill that position, or will it be someone bigger? Will it be Utah? Will it be one of these guys slotting in that starting lineup? Obviously, Scotty got the start in the first preseason game of this year.
I wouldn't hate if Utah got into the starting lineup just for a little bit, but if we're going to run with Scotty Barnes, OG would be the 4, Scotty would be the 3, just because OG has more tenure in guarding this bigger, more physical NBA players. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would expect it to go with. I don't see the point when we have so many young guys, when we might trade Dragic at the midseason deadline, when he really is that veteran scorer off the bench. Who are we serving by putting him into the starting lineup, right? If we're that desperate to win games at the beginning of the season, I don't know. I think Nick Nurse would have just lost the overall point of what how we retooled this offseason. So hopefully Dragic doesn't get the start, not because I don't like him, just because you're impeding other players' developments. But Ben, when Boucher comes back, and Josh, whom he's going to become a real fixture now in the podcast, if you're not acquainted with him yet, he wants to see Boucher get some minutes as the starting, or not necessarily starting, at the center spot. Are you and I in agreement? That doesn't make any sense. To waste Boucher's energy defending the likes of Andre Drummond down the post, no sense, right? Should we play him at the 4? Play him really as like a 3-4?
He's better at the 4, right? If we're playing against some small teams, then running him at the 5. it makes sense occasionally. You want to really run a small ball unit with a bunch of floor spacers. Chris Boucher can play that role tremendously, but starting him out there, you brought up his games against Drummond, his games against Dwight Howard, his games against Giannis occasionally, right? Just didn't really fit at that center spot. And we have two guys that legitimately play that position this season, right? We're not rocking out with the old insurance pylon. I got that animation still loaded up here.
Gotta retire that disparaging animation, Ben.
Yeah, but we have a couple centers. Boucher, he's coming and sliding into that spot. I think Boucher's primed for a breakout season. I think it's going to be a year where he obviously took a step last season, but he might be able to become a household name sort of starting off this year. I've seen some people talk about, obviously he's in a contract year, so he only has 1 year left on his deal. If the Raptors are struggling, he potentially get traded and all these sorts of things. But you and I are high on this team. But I guess the question, because we don't want to ramble too long about the lineups and stuff, as we have been pretty well every video. But Ryker, can this team still win? Are we just riding too much of a high right now after this Philadelphia 76ers W in preseason? In the first game of preseason where the starters didn't really play that much on either side, right? Can we win without Siakam and Boucher, two of our main power forwards? Can we win the first couple weeks of the season? Because if we start off the year going 0-6, right, in the regular season, after a tanking season, even if we have the talent, right, that's going to be pretty disparaging, especially for a young team.
Without a doubt, Boucher was our second or third best player last season, and it's because Fred VanVleet was inconsistent and OG wasn't scoring consistently enough. Not that he was trying to score every night.
Third
and
best
his shots
player?
were inconsistent. Boucher?
I'm giving you an OG's on that one. An OG's take. Chris Boucher better than Fred, Lowry, Norm, Siakam?
Okay, last season, Siakam was our best player, right? Just by the stats. Fred VanVleet was woefully inconsistent.
He still averaged close to 20 points per game, Ryker.
Yeah. But again, that's not his role.
We have
Chris Boucher coming off. We had Chris Boucher, who was having a better 3-point shooting year than Steph Curry for 120 stretch of basketball.
You can't be throwing these things out without numbers to back it up.
And
Ryker.
a 20-game stretch where he had more blocks per game than Rudy Gobert. He was the block leader in the NBA. Yeah, and he was doing both things simultaneously. He was without a doubt our spark plug off the bench, and especially to close the season, he was by far our most consistent player. So I'm going to assert that he was our second or third best player on the roster last year. Now, I forgot about Norm Powell because he was dealt at the trade deadline.
Even Trent.
No, Trent was not better than Boucher.
Trent got some buckets when he was on the squad here last season.
And then he had some duds when he came off the bench. Trent was up and down. I'm gonna stand tall. Boucher was at worst our third best player on the Raptors last season. And so my point is, without him and Siakam,
are you trolling? Are you memeing?
I'm not trolling. What are you saying, dude? Fred VanVleet was inconsistent, right? Lowry wasn't even there. He was moody and whiny the whole season.
He was still better than Boucher.
And OG didn't try to shoot often enough. He wasn't trying hard enough to be our third or fourth.
He still got better stats, played better defense.
Oh, as if, dude. Boucher had almost a steal and 2 blocks per game.
OG's clamping people up. I can't even debate
I'm
this
searching.
right now.
I'm searching OG stats. I challenge you that OG was miles ahead of Chris Boucher. OG.
Yeah, you pull up this stat.
Ha! Okay. 40% from 3. Okay. 40% from 3. But 16 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. Yep. And a steal and a half and 0.7 blocks.
Yeah.
Chris Boucher, 14 points. So 2 points per game less, 2 blocks per game, 0.7 steals, and 7 rebounds. So it's like almost even keel. And Boucher did it off the bench and in way less minutes played.
But did he on ball absolutely
24 minutes versus 33 minutes?
This is the wildest take I've ever heard on a Digest podcast.
Third best player on the team last year. I'm not even joking.
That's going
I'm not
in
even
the
joking.
thumbnail. Let us know in the comment section below. I'm saying Fred. I'm saying Norm, Trent, OG, and Siakam. Just off the top of my head, they had a better season than Boucher last year.
You're crazy.
But I don't know. Let us know in the comment section what you guys think. You guys are the best for making it this far. This video went in an interesting direction. We didn't have this planned, but let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. As I said, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that cool stuff. You can become a member of the Raptors Digest now. Get your merch as well. I said in the last video the membership animation's coming, but we're recording a bunch because I'm going to Montreal in tomorrow, so I don't know when these videos are coming out in order. But once we get some time, that membership animation will be shouting out everyone that's joined and become a channel member. You can join a membership down below. If you want to join our fantasy league, we should plug what's in this stuff, Riker. Join the membership because we only have 2 weeks, two or so weeks before the season starts. So that draft has come along quick if you want to be in that fantasy league. But Riker, do you have any last words besides something blasphemous that Chris Boucher is the third best player on this squad?
I stand tall, Ben. Trey Boucher, third best player last season. This season, maybe not. Cheers.